ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत शृण्वन्नोतभिः सीदसादनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजनीवती दीनामवित्रयवतो गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवाहितं यधायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ नमो भगवते रुद्राय ॐ नमस्ते रुद्रमन्यव उतोत इषवे नमः नमस्ते अस्तु धन्वने बाहुभ्यामुत ते नमः यात इषु शिवतमा शिवं बभूव ते धनुः शिवा शरव्या यातवतया नो रुद्रमडया या ते रुद्र शिवा तनूरघोरा पापकाशिनी तया नस्तनुवाशन्तमया गिरिशन्ताभिजाकशीः यामिषुं गिरिशन्तहस्ते बिभर्षस्तवे शिवां गिरित्रतां कुरु माहि गुंसेः पुरुषं जगत शिवेन वचसा त्वा गिरिशाचावधामसि यथा नः सर्वमिज्जगत यक्ष्मगं सुमना असत अध्यवोचदधिवक्ता प्रथमो देव्योऽभिषक अहेग्यश्च सर्वान् जम्भयन्त् सर्वाश्च यातु धान्यः असो यस्ताम्रो अरुण उत बभ्रुः सुमङ्गलः ये चेमागुं रुद्र अभितो दिक्षु श्रिता सहस्रशो वैशागुं हेरयीमहे असो यो वसर्पति नीलग्रीवो विलोहितः उतेनं गोपा अदृशन्नदृशन्नुदहार्यः उतेनं विश्वा भूतानि सदृष्टो मृडयतिनः नमो अस्तु नीलग्रीवाय सहस्राक्षाय मीरुषे अथो ये अस्य सत्त्वानोऽहं तेभ्यो करन्नमः प्रमुञ्च धन्वनस्त्वमुभयोरात्मीयोर्जाम् याश्च ते हस्त इषवः पराता भगवो वपा अवतत्यदनुस्त्वगं सहस्राक्षशुधे शुधे निशीर्य शल्यानां मुखा शिवो नः सुमना भव विज्जं धनुः कपर्दिनोऽभिशल्यो बाणवागम् उत अनेशन्नस्येषव आभुरस्य निषङ्गतिः या ते हे धर्मे दुष्टमहस्ते बभूव ते धनुः तयास्मान् विश्वतस्त्वमयक्ष्मया परिभुज नमस्ते अस्त्वायुधाय नातताय धृष्णवे उभाभ्यामुत ते नमो बाहुभ्यां तव धन्वने परिते धन्वनो हेतिरस्मान् वृणक्तो विश्वतः अतो य इषुदिस्तवारे अस्मन्निदेहितम् नमस्ते अस्तु भगवन् विश्वेश्वराय महादेवाय त्र्यम्बकाय त्रिपुरान्तकाय त्रिकाग्निकालाय कालाग्निरुद्राय नीलकण्ठाय मृत्युञ्जयाय सर्वेश्वराय सदाशिवाय श्रीमन्महादेवाय नमः नमो हिरण्यबाहवे सेनान्ये दिशां च पतये नमो नमो वृक्षेभ्यो हरिकेशेभ्यः पशूनां पतये नमो नमः सस्पिञ्जराय त्विषीमते पथीनां पतये नमो नमो बभ्लुषाय विद्याधीने नान्नां पतये नमो नमो हरिकेशायोपवीतिने पुष्टानां पतये नमो नमो भवस्य हेत्ये जगत्तां पतये नमो नमो रुद्राय ततादिने क्षेत्राणां पतये नमो नमः सूताय हन्त्याय वनानां पतये नमो नमो रोहिताय स्तपतये वृक्षाणां पतये नमो नमो मन्त्रणे वाणिजाय कक्षाणां पतये नमो नमो भुवन्तये वारिवस्कृतायौषधीनां पतये नमो नमः उच्चैर्घोषाय क्रन्दयते पत्तीनां पतये नमो नमः कृत्स्नवीताय धावते सत्त्वनां पतये नमः नमः सहमानाय नव्यादिन आव्यादिनीनां पतये नमो नमः ककुभाय निषङ्गिणे स्तेनानां पतये नमो नमो निषङ्गिन इषुधिमते तस्कराणां पतये नमो नमो वञ्जते परिवञ्जते स्तायूनां पतये नमो नमो निचेरवे परिचरायारण्यानां पतये नमो नमः श्रिकाविभ्यो जिगागं सत्भ्यो मुष्णतां पतये नमो नमो सिमद्भ्यो नक्तं चरभ्यः प्रकृन्तानां पतये नमो नमः ऊष्णीषिने गिरिचराय कुलुञ्चानां पतये नमो नमः इषुमद्भ्यो धन्वाविभ्यश्च वो नमो नमः आतन्वानेभ्यः प्रतितधानेभ्यश्च वो नमो नमः आयश्चद्भ्यो विसृजद्भ्यश्च वो नमो नमो स्यद्भ्यो विद्यद्भ्यश्च वो नमो नमः आसीनेभ्यश्च यानेभ्यश्च वो नमो नमः स्वपद्भ्यो जाग्रद्भ्यश्च वो नमो नमः स्तिष्ठद्भ्यो धावद्भ्यश्च वो नमो नमः सभापतिभ्यश्च वो नमो नमो अश्वेभ्यो अश्वपतिभ्यश्च वो नमः नमः आव्याधिनीभ्यो विविद्यन्तिभ्यश्च वो नमो नमः उगणाभ्यस्त्रिगंहतिभ्यश्च वो नमो नमो घृत्सेभ्यो घृत्सपतिभ्यश्च वो नमो नमो व्रातेभ्यो व्रातपतिभ्यश्च वो नमो नमो गणेभ्यो गणपतिभ्यश्च वो नमो नमो विरूपेभ्यो विश्वरूपेभ्यश्च वो नमो नमो महत्यः क्षुल्लकेभ्यश्च वो नमो नमो रतिभ्यो रतेभ्यश्च वो नमो नमो रथेभ्यो रत्तपतिभ्यश्च वो नमो नमः सेनानिभ्यश्च वो नमो नमः क्षत्तर्भ्यः सङ्ग्रहीतर्भ्यश्च वो नमो नमः स्तक्षभ्यो रथकारेभ्यश्च वो नमो नमः कुलालेभ्यः कर्मारेभ्यश्च वो नमो नमः पुञ्जिष्टेभ्यो निषादेभ्यश्च वो नमो नमः इषुकृभ्यो धन्वकृभ्यश्च वो नमो नमो मृगयुभ्यः श्वनीभ्यश्च वो नमो नमः श्वभ्यः श्वपतिभ्यश्च वो नमः नमो भवाय च रुद्राय च नमः शरवाय च पशुपतये च नमो नीलग्रीवाय च शितिकण्ठाय च नमः कपर्दिने च व्युप्तकेशाय च नमः सहस्राक्षाय च शतधन्वने च नमो गिरिशाय च शिपिविष्टाय च नमो मीरुष्टमाय चेषुमते च नमो रसवाय च वामनाय च नमो प्रहते च वर्षीयसे च नमो वृद्धाय च संवृद्ध्वने च नमो अग्र्याय च प्रथमाय च नमः आशवे च जिराय च नमः शीघ्रियाय च शेव्याय च नमः ऊर्म्याय च वस्वन्याय च नमः श्रोतस्याय च द्वेद्याय च नमो ज्येष्ठाय च कनिष्ठाय च नमः पूर्वजाय च परजाय च नमो मध्यमाय च पगर्भाय च नमो जघन्याय च भूत्नीयाय च नमः सोऽभ्याय च प्रतिसर्याय च नमो याम्याय च क्षेम्याय च नमः उर्वर्याय च खल्याय च नमः श्लोक्याय च वसान्याय च नमो वन्याय च कक्षाय च नमः श्रवाय च प्रतिश्रवाय च नमः आशुषेणाय च शुरताय च नमः शूराय च वबिन्दते च नमो वर्मिने च वरुतिने च नमो बिल्मिने च कवचिने च नमः श्रुताय च श्रुतसेनाय च नमो दुन्दुभ्याय च हनन्याय च नमो धृष्णवे च प्रमृषाय च नमो दूताय च प्रहिताय च नमो निषङ्गिने चेषु धीमते च नमः तीक्ष्णीषवे च युधिने च नमः स्वायुधाय च सुधन्वने च नमः श्रुत्याय च पत्याय च नमः काट्याय च नेप्याय च नमः सूध्याय च सरस्याय च नमो नाध्याय च वेशन्ताय च नमः कूप्याय च वत्याय च नमो वर्षाय च च नमो मेघ्याय च विद्युत्याय च नमः ईध्रियाय च तप्याय च नमो वात्याय च रेश्म्याय च नमो वास्तव्याय च वास्तुपाय च ॐ हर 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 ॐ नमः सोमाय च रुद्राय च नमः ताम्राय च रुणाय च नमः शङ्गाय च पशुपतये च नमः उग्राय च भीमाय च नमो अग्रे वदाय च दूरे वदाय च नमो हन्त्रे च हनीयसे च नमो वृक्षेभ्यो हरिकेशेभ्यो नमस्ताराय नमः शम्भवे च मयो भवे च नमः शङ्कराय च मयस्कराय च नमः शिवाय च शिवतराय च नमः स्थित्याय च खोल्याय च नमः पार्याय च भार्याय च नमः प्रतरणाय चोत्तरणाय च नमः आतार्याय च लाद्याय च नमः षष्प्याय च फेन्याय च नमः सिकट्याय च प्रवाह्याय च नमः इरण्याय च प्रपत्याय च नमः किगंशिलाय च क्षयनाय च नमः कपर्दिने च पुलस्तये च नमो कोष्ठाय च कृत्याय च नमः स्तल्प्याय च गेग्याय च नमः काट्याय च गवरेष्ठाय च नमो हृदयाय च निवेश्याय च नमः पागं सव्याय च रजस्याय च नमः शुष्क्याय च हरित्याय च नमो लोप्याय चोलप्याय च नमः उर्व्याय च सूर्म्याय च नमः पर्ण्याय च पर्णशत्याय च नमो पगुरमाणाय च भिघ्नते च नमः आखिदते च प्रखिदते च नमो वक्किरिकेभ्यो देवानागं हृदयेभ्यो नमो वीक्षिणकेभ्यो नमो वीक्षिन्वट्केभ्यो नमः आनिरहतेभ्यो नमः आमिवट्केभ्यः द्रापे अन्धसस्पते दरिद्रन्नीललोहिता येषां पुरुषाणाम् येषां पशूनां माभेर्मा रोमो येषां किञ्चन ममता या ते रुद्र शिवा तनो शिवा विश्वाह भेषजी शिवा रुद्रस्य भेषजी तया नो बृरजीवसे इमागुं रुद्राय तवसे कपर्दिने क्षयद्वीराय प्रबरामहे मतिं यथा न शमशद्विपते चतुष्पते विश्वं पुष्टं ग्रामे अस्मिन्न नातुरम् मृडानो रुद्रोत नो मयस्कृति क्षयद्वीराय नमसा विधेमते यच्चं च योश्च मनुराय जे पिता तदश्यम तव रुद्र प्रणीतो मानो महान्तमुत्तमानो अर्भकं मान उक्षन्तमुत्तमान उक्षितं मानो वदी पितरं मोत मातरं प्रियामानस्तनुवो रुद्ररीरिषः मानस्तोके तनये मान आयुषि मानो गोषु मानो अश्वेषु रीरिषः वीरान् मानुरुद्रभामितो वदिर्हविष्मन्तो नमसा विधेमते आरात्य गोग्न उत पूरुषग्ने क्षयद्वीराय सुं नमस्मे ते अस्तु रक्षा च नो अधि च देवा ब्रूयद च न शर्मा यच्चत् द्विबरः ष्टुहि श्रुतं गर्सदं युवानं मृगान्नभीममुपहत्नुमुग्रं मृडाचरित्रे रुद्रास्तवानो अन्यन्ते अस्मन्निवपन्तु सेनाः परिणो रुद्रस्य हेतर्वृणक्तु परितेशस्य धुर्मतिरगायोः अवस्थिरा मघवत्पयस्तनुष्वमीध्वस्तोकाय तनयाय मृडया मीरुष्टमशिवतमा शिवो न सुमना भव परमे वृक्ष आयुधन्निदाय कृतं वसान आचर पिनाकं बिभ्रदागहि विकिरितविलोहित नमस्ते अस्तु भगवः यास्ते सहस्रगं हेतयोऽन्यमस्मन्निवपन्तु ताः सहस्राणि सहस्रदा बाहुवो स्तव हेतयः तासामीशानो भगवः पराचीनामुकाकृति सहस्राणि सहस्रशो ये रुद्रा अधिभूम्यां तेषागं सहस्रयोजने वधन्वानि तन्मसि अस्मिन् महन्त्यन्नवेऽन्तरिक्षे भवा अधि नीलग्रीवाशितिकण्ठाः शर्वा अधः क्षमाचराः नीलग्रीवाशितिकण्ठा दिवगुं रुद्र उपश्रिताः ये वृक्षेषु सस्पिञ्जरा नीलग्रीवा विलोहिताः ये भूतानाम् अधिपतयो विशिकास कपर्दिनः ये अन्येषु विविद्यन्ति पात्रेषु पिपतो जनानां ये पथां पतिरक्षय एलभृदाय व्युदः ये तीर्थानि प्रचरन्ति श्रिकावन्तो निषङ्गिनः य एतवन्तश्च भूयागंसश्च दिशो रुद्रावितस्थिरे तेषागं सहस्रयोजने वधन्वानि तन्मसि नमो रुद्रेभ्यो ये पृथिव्याम्येऽन्तरिक्षे ये दिवि येषामन्नं वातो वर्षमिषवस्तेभ्यो दश प्राचीर्दश दक्षिणादश प्रतीचीर्दशोदीचीर्दशो द्वास्तेभ्यो नमस्ते नो मृडयन्तु तेयं द्विष्वयश्च नो द्वेष्टितं वो जम्भे दधामि त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् यो रुद्रो अग्नो यो अप्सु य ओषधीषु यो रुद्रो विश्वा भुवना विवेश तस्मै रुद्राय नमो अस्तु ये ते सहस्रमयुतं पाशा मृत्यो मर्त्यया हन्तवे तान् यज्ञस्य मायया सर्वानवायजामहे मृत्यवे स्वाहा मृत्यवे स्वाहा प्राणानां ग्रन्थिरसि रुद्रो मा विशान्तकः तेनान्येनान्त्यायस्व नमो रुद्राय विष्णवे मृत्युर्मे पाहि तमुष्टुहि अस्विषु सुदन्वायो विश्वक्षयति भेषजस्य यक्ष्वा महेशो मनसाय रुद्रं नमो भीर्देवमसुरं दुवस्य अयमे हस्तो भगवान् अयमे भगवत्तरः अयं मे विश्वभेषजो यगं शिवाभिमर्षणः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः शं च मे मयश्च मे प्रियं च मे नुकामश्च मे कामश्च मे सोमनशश्च मे भद्रं च मे श्रेयश्च मे वशश्च मे यशश्च मे भगश्च मे द्रविणं च मे यन्ता च मे दर्ता च मे क्षेमश्च मे धृतिश्च मे विश्वं च मे महश्च मे संवित् च मे ज्ञात्रं च मे सुश्च मे प्रसुश्च मे शिरं च मे लयश्च मरुत्तं च मे अमृतं च मे यक्ष्मं च मे नामयच्च मे जीवातुश्च मे दीर्घायुत्वं च मे नमित्रं च मे भयं च मे सुगं च मे शयनं च मे सूषा च मे सुदिनं च मे स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्
शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
पाहि गजानन दीनावना पाहि गजानन दीनावना सिन्दूरवदना श्रितजनपालना सिन्दूरवदना श्रितजनपालना पाहि गजानन दीनावना अम्बिकतनया अमराधीश्वरा पाहि गजानन दीनावना सिन्धुरवदना श्रितजनपालना पाहि गजानन दीनावना अम्बिकतनया अमराधीश्वर अगणिक गुणगण आनन्ददायक अगणिक गुणगण आनन्ददायक पाहि गजानन दीनावना
भजो गणेशाम भजो मुरली गोपाल भजो 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 नंद की लाल भजो राधे नंदा की लाल भजो राधे नंद की लाल भजो राधे नंदा की लाल भजो राधे नंद की लाल भजो नंदा की लाल भजो नंद की लाल भजो नंदा की लाल भजो गिरिधर गोपाल मधुरानाद गिरिधर
जय जय वैष्णवी देवी माँ, जय जय वैष्णवी देवी माँ,
जय जय वैष्णवी देवी माँ, जय जय वैष्णवी देवी माँ,
जय जय वैष्णवी देवी माँ, जय जय वैष्णवी देवी माँ,
जय जय वैष्णवी देवी माँ, जय जय वैष्णवी देवी माँ,
जय माँ, जय माँ, जय माँ साई माँ,
जय माँ, जय माँ, जय माँ साई माँ,
जय जय माँ, जय जय माँ, जय जय माँ साई माँ,
जय जय माँ, जय जय माँ, जय जय माँ साई माँ,
शेरा वाली माँ, जोता वाली 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 माँ,
महारा वाली माँ, जय जग जननी साई 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 माँ,
जय माँ, जय माँ, जय माँ साई माँ,
जय माँ, जय माँ, जय माँ साई माँ,
जय जय माँ, जय जय माँ, जय जय माँ साई माँ,
जय जय माँ, जय जय माँ, जय जय माँ साई माँ,
जय जय वैष्णवी देवी माँ, जय जय वैष्णवी देवी माँ,
जय जय वैष्णवी देवी माँ, जय जय वैष्णवी देवी माँ,
जय माँ, जय माँ, जय माँ साई माँ,
जय माँ, जय माँ, जय माँ साई माँ,
शेरा वाली माँ, जोता वाली माँ,
शेरा वाली माँ, जोता वाली माँ,
महारा वाली माँ, जय जग जननी साई माँ,
महारा वाली माँ, जय जग जननी साई माँ,
जय माँ, जय माँ, जय माँ साई माँ,
जय माँ, जय माँ, जय माँ साई माँ,
जय जय माँ, जय जय माँ, जय जय माँ साई माँ,
जय जय माँ, जय जय माँ, जय जय माँ साई माँ,
जय माँ, जय माँ, जय माँ साई माँ,
जय माँ, जय माँ, जय माँ साई माँ,
जय जय माँ, जय जय माँ, जय जय माँ साई माँ,
जय माँ, जय जय माँ, जय जय माँ साई माँ,
जय जय वैष्णवी देवी माँ, जय जय वैष्णवी देवी माँ।
राम 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 परम सुमंगल राम 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 परम सुमंगल राम 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 परम सुमंगल राम राम राम
रामचंद्र जय जय राम राम श्री रामचंद्र जय जय राम करुणा विराम कमनीय राम करुणा विराम कमनीय राम राम श्री रामचंद्र जय जय राम कोदंड राम कल्याण राम कोदंड राम कल्याण राम शरणागत परिपालन श्री चरण राम शरणागत परिपालन श्री चरण राम राम श्री राम साई राम राम श्री राम साई राम समरा विजय राम संगीत राम समरा विजय राम संगीत राम राम श्री रामचंद्र जय जय राम करुणा विराम कमनीय राम राम श्री रामचंद्र जय जय राम कोदंड राम कल्याण राम शरणागत परिपालन श्री चरण राम राम श्री राम साई राम राम श्री राम साई राम समरा विजय राम संगीत राम समरा विजय राम संगीत राम
गिरिजापति भवानी शंकर
गिरिजापति भवानी शंकर
गिरिजापति भवानी शंकर
गिरिजापति भवानी शंकर
शिव शंकर शंभो
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 साई शिव शंकर शंभो
साई शिव शंकर शंभो
साई शिव शंकर शंभो
हे शिव शंकर नमामि शंकर शिव शंकर शंभो
हे शिव शंकर नमामि शंकर शिव शंकर शंभो
हे गिरिजापति भवानी शंकर
हे गिरिजापति भवानी शंकर
शिव शंकर शंभो
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 साई शिव शंकर शंभो
साई शिव शंकर शंभो
साई शिव शंकर शंभो
हे शिव शंकर नमामि शंकर शिव शंकर शंभो
सुब्रह्मण्यं सुब्रह्मण्यं शंभुनाथ सुब्रह्मण्यं 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 शंभुनाथ सुब्रह्मण्यं 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 शंभुनाथ सुब्रह्मण्यं 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 शंभुनाथ सुब्रह्मण्यं शिव 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 सुब्रह्मण्यं हर 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 सुब्रह्मण्यं ओम शिव 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 सुब्रह्मण्यं हर 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 सुब्रह्मण्यं शिव शिव हर हर सुब्रह्मण्यं हर हर शिव शिव सुब्रह्मण्यं शिव शिव हर हर सुब्रह्मण्यं हर हर शिव शिव सुब्रह्मण्यं शिव शरवण भव सुब्रह्मण्यं शिव शरवण भव सुब्रह्मण्यं जय शिव शरवण भव सुब्रह्मण्यं शिव शरवण भव सुब्रह्मण्यं ओम शिव शरवण भव सुब्रह्मण्यं शिव शरवण भव सुब्रह्मण्यं शिव शिव हर हर सुब्रह्मण्यं हर हर शिव शिव सुब्रह्मण्यं शिव शिव हर हर सुब्रह्मण्यं हर हर शिव शिव सुब्रह्मण्यं 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 शंभुनाथ सुब्रह्मण्यं जय सुब्रह्मण्यं सुब्रह्मण्यं शंभुनाथ सुब्रह्मण्यं ओम सुब्रह्मण्यं सुब्रह्मण्यं शंभुनाथ सुब्रह्मण्यं सुब्रह्मण्यं
ॐ तत्सत् श्रीनारायण तु पुरुषोत्तम गुरुतु सिद्धबुद्ध तु स्कन्दविनायक सविता पावक तु सविता पावक तू ब्रह्ममज तू यहोवा शक्ति तू येषु पिता प्रभु तू रुद्र विष्णु तू राम कृष्ण तू रहीमताओ तू रहीमताओ तू वासुदेव गो विश्वरूप तू चिदानंद हरि तू अद्वितीय तू अकाल निर्भय आत्मलिंग शिव तू आत्मलिंग शिव तू आत्मलिंग शिव तू असतो मा सद्गमया तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमया मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमया शांति शांति शांति।
I offer my most loving and humble pranams at the divine lotus feet of Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba, loving Sai Rams, dear embodiments of love. I trust that you are all well and safe and enjoying this glorious Sunday morning. On behalf of Chatsworth Region 2, I want to extend a very warm welcome to all our sisters and brothers. Thank you for joining our online devotional program. Our infographic for this week is from Satya Sai Speaks, Volume 12. Swami says, and I quote, "The universe is the body of God. Every particle in it is filled by God." I end the quote. Dear devotees, Sister Kale will now share her experience on one of the 108 names of Sai.
Humble prostrations and salutations at the lotus feet of my beloved Bhagavan and a very loving Sai Ram to my dearest Sai family. I pray that all are well, staying strong and safe. I am most humbled to share a very precious gem with you. Aum Sri Sai Sharanagata Tranaya Namaha, which means salutations to Sri Sai, who protects those who surrender to him, who saves those who surrender to him. So what does surrender mean? Swami very lovingly explained in a discourse on 15th March 2004. It means to give yourself entirely, unconditionally, and absolutely to God. Unquote. I learned that this is a process and that growth occurs during our most challenging times. My process began after one of my most tragic experiences. I was 30 years old when my husband was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, a virulent and aggressive tumor. I was visiting him in hospital when he had a heart attack. Despite me starting CPR and the doctors continuing, he passed away. I had fervently chanted the Mahamrityunjaya mantra and pleaded with Swami to save his life. But I didn't get what I prayed for. I faithfully did what I believed would save him. And his funeral was on our 3rd month wedding anniversary. So how does one recover from that? How do you begin to understand this? How do you keep the faith? I had previous traumatic experiences, but this was my worst. That's why Swami says in the prayer of surrender, I quote, "What seriously upsets you is your reasoning, your worrying, your obsession, and your will to provide for yourselves at any price." Swami goes on to say, "You pray to me when in pain so that I will intervene, but in the way you desired. You do not rely on me. You want me to adjust to your requests." Unquote. It's exactly what I did. I fought with Swami and accused him of abandoning me because I didn't even have one dream of him after the funeral. But my compassionate and ever-loving Bhagavan came in my dream that night and told me that I know what to do. He doesn't have to tell me what to do. And then Swami appeared on the dais again, and a sister friend who was a brahmacharini and renunciate at another ashram walked across the dais and merged into Swami. The next morning, I knew exactly what it meant. Swami had visited me almost every day in the form of that dear sister. He had never left me alone. He became my source of comfort and healing. 9 months after my husband's death, my precious dad was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer of the stomach. Surgery was not an option. It was a matter of time. I clung to Swami, who gave me the heads up with a vision 2 weeks before Dad could pass away. And again, during one of the vigils at around 2 to 3 a.m., while sitting at Dad's bedside, through my third eye, I saw Swami glide to the foot of Dad's bed. Using a hand mudra, he called Dad 3 times and disappeared. On the 3rd day, Dad passed away. And so I quote from the prayer of surrender again. Sometimes you feel that disasters increase instead of diminishing. Don't get agitated. Close your eyes and tell me with faith, "Thy will be done." Thou think of it, and when you thus speak, I even accomplish a miracle when necessary. I only think of it when you trust me totally. Unquote. This I did. When in 2004 my chronic illness complicated, my doctor looked at my blood test results with utter disbelief. The results was that of a dead person. My doctor's exact response thereafter was, "People with better results have died." I accepted it, trusted Swami, and I started preparing to die. I read and researched life after death, the death experience, and all that had to do with dying. I gave away my home, its contents, made complete provisions for my mother to be cared for and provided for, gave away my clothes, and tried to make it as easy as possible for my family. 6 months later, I was doing well and still alive. But I got depressed. I kept thinking, Swami doesn't want me. Yet Swami had saved me. That was my miracle. So I decided to surrender completely. But how does this process of surrender work? I decided to follow the Christian method. They ask God to forgive their sins and ask God to come into their hearts, to live in their hearts. They die to this life and hereafter live for Him only. Then they become believers and are born again. So Swami became my best friend. I talked to him as one would talk to an imaginary friend. Took him in my car, discussed the plans, where does he want me to go, how should I do it, and when we were thinking alike, it was I told him I like the way he thinks, laughed at the thoughts he put in my head, sang to him, and in short he became my everything and my constant companion. While I was preparing this talk, Swami directed me to the discourse of 15th March 2004, Volume 2, Issue 6 of the Radio Sai Journal, where he says to attain that state of surrender, you should first develop friendship with God. What is friendship? The feeling of oneness is true friendship. The two must feel alike, think alike. Divinity can only be attained when the body, the mind, and the soul are all surrendered at the lotus feet of the Lord. He goes on to say, you are truly speaking a child of God, a spark of the divine. Therefore it is that Purandaradasa sang, as long as I am aware of your presence in my heart, I do not feel lost. You are the real doer and not me. You impart knowledge. You protect and you also reprimand when necessary. There is nothing that is not yours. I am wholly yours when you, the Almighty, are doing so much for me and are taking care of me. How can I be called poor? Like Purandaradasa, all of you are a spark of the divine. He realized that he was, you too should, says Swami. So, my dearest family, I pray that you realize that you are a precious spark of the divine and that you invite and install our beloved Bhagwan in your heart this day. Ask him with all the love in your being to come into your heart and surrender your body, mind, and soul at his lotus feet. Then accept everything that happens as it is for your highest good. I am infinitely grateful to my beloved Bhagwan for his abundant blessings and for everything he so lovingly does for all of us. May you continue to enjoy his precious friendship with love, light, and blessings. Jai Sai Ram.
Thank you, Sister Kale, for sharing your experiences with us. Dear devotees, our announcements for this week are as follows. The regional Sunday morning sadhana continues every week, commencing at 5:30 a.m. The regional Havan this morning was conducted by Queensborough Sai Centre. Vedam classes are held every Sunday, commencing at 9:15 a.m. Our next Centre WhatsApp study circle will be on Monday, 25th October at 7 p.m. and the flower offered to Swami is on penance. Please liaise with your Centre Devotional Coordinator for more information. Our education wing encourages all our Balvikas kids to showcase their unique talent by sharing with us a short video clip of them in action. The video should be between 1 and 1.5 minutes. The talents can include anything from singing bhajans, value-based songs, or even own compositions, playing a musical instrument, classical dancing or movement, poetry recital, a talk with a short inspirational message, or anything that our children are proud of as their precious talent. Please contact your Balvikas Gurus for further information. Devotees are encouraged to continue with the planting of spekboom, herbs, and vegetables. Please also continue to make your eco bricks and recycle your cans, paper, and old electronic gadgets. We want to thank all devotees that participated in the Sai Avatar Day Seva program and the National Vitamin Seva program. 1,300 meals were prepared for distribution and 1,400 vitamin packs were completed for distribution. Our young adults require some media content for their young adult channel. The following content is required: vegetarian recipes in video format of young adults cooking. This is to encourage healthy eating, taking lessons from the sadhana camp. A Sai experience in writing or video clip for about 5 to 6 minutes. A write-up of a Seva activity attended this year with photos and video of your experience. A write-up of any Go Green activities that you are currently doing, including photos and videos. If young adults have these ready, please liaise with your Center Young Adult Convener and a link will be provided for you to upload your info. Devotees requiring any further information on any of the announcements are to please liaise with their center president or convener. During Aarti, let us pray for the sick, the poor, the needy, and all those that have been affected by the pandemic and unrest. Let us also pray for peace in our country and world, as well as inner peace within ourselves. Let us all give thanks to our dear Lord Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba for all that he has done for us. May we all continue with our sadhanas and receive Swami's divine love, grace, and blessings. Do have a happy and blessed week. Jai Sri Sai Ram.
In the year 2000, when Swami started the Gram Seva, Swami had called all of us to the Bhajan Mandir, and I can never forget that particular instance where Bhagwan was very emotional. He was in tears. And I felt that day when the Gram Seva started, that when the Lord's tear falls on the ground, the scriptures say it became Rudraksha, which is, a succor giving, a protecting tree, which gives us that fruit which all the great sages wear across their bodies for protection. I said, really, this was that the drop of tear which fell from Bhagwan's eyes is for the last 14 years, for the past 12 years, is giving succor to lakhs and lakhs of people in the whole of Anantapur district. And Bhagwan told about an instance as to how a mother could not afford to even give food to her small children, and she had to partake of poison and end their lives. And year after year I have seen that Gram Seva is one particular project which has given Bhagwan great satisfaction. In one of the years when we had gone for doing Gram Seva, we had taken even clothes for children along with us, along with some stationery items and clothes. And after we had done our distribution in that particular village, some Gangoti Palli, if I correctly remember, and as we were loading the empty crates back into the trucks, suddenly we heard the cries of Swami's clothes, and we, when we looked back and we realized that all the small children had worn the clothes given to them and holding laddus in their hands with new clothes, adorned with new clothes. They were all waving frantically at us, Swami's clothes, Sai Ram, Sai Ram. I could not contain the tears in my eyes, and I just went into the truck's cabin and started weeping, because that was the reward of selfless service that we were reaping in Bhagwan's presence. And after this 2002, Swami told some of us to do a presentation on the experiences of Gram Seva. Along with a few teachers and research scholars, we made a presentation. But Bhagwan said that two boys should speak together and share their experiences. They can ask a question, give an answer, then the other two boys can come and have a question and answer format of presentation. Now that was slightly difficult for me, because to memorize my lines exactly, starting and the ending, and somebody else will have to speak, that basically would have meant I will not be able to speak from my heart. And that was difficult for me. So I was forgetting my lines. Even one day, the last rehearsal in Pune Chandra that we had, I again forgot my lines. Our Vice Chancellor, the other members of the group, we were all practicing. We became very alarmed that tomorrow, in front of Bhagwan, if Deepak forgets his lines, it's gonna be a catastrophe. And everybody will blame the whole team. So everybody was praying. But I had to make special prayers. So after dinner was over, I was staying in the hostel. So I just walked off into the Hillview Stadium and looked at the idol of Lord Hanuman on top. And then I started praying to Hanuman. I said, Lord, you have achieved a great deal for Lord Rama. Here I am suffering and unable to even deliver a few lines. Can you not help me do this bit? At least this bit. The same Lord Sai Rama's honor is at stake. Now please don't let me fail tomorrow. And I promise you that if I am able to deliver tomorrow, then from tomorrow evening onwards, for the next 7 days, I will come and take 9 rounds every day. That's my promise to you. So in the night, the deal was struck. And I came, and with prayers and with rehearsals going on all of, maybe even in the dream, I got up in the morning. We went the next day for the program, and the program was a great success. I did not forget my lines. It was a miracle. I could not understand how it happened, but I did not forget my lines. And Bhagwan was very happy. He kept his hand on all of our heads, took photographs with us in groups together. It was amazing. So as per my promise, I started going to Hanuman from that evening onwards, taking my 9 rounds every day. So it continued for 7 days. On the 7th day, after I finished my prayers and my pradakshina, and I was looking at Bhagwan's Purnachandra, and I was wondering, Swami, have my prayers reached you? I kept my promise, but has the fulfillment of this promise reached and satisfied you or not? I then thought, okay, I prayed to Hanuman. Maybe Hanuman got my prayers. Maybe Swami was excluded from this, or maybe Swami got it. Then I thought, okay, why this confusion? I have done my bit and I have done with it now. Let me go back. It's getting late for the college. So I started coming down. As I coming down, I heard the siren of the police jeep which used to follow Bhagwan's car. And I thought maybe because one VIP is not well in the hospital, maybe Swami has gone to just visit him and bless him. But then I saw after a little while, as I was coming down, that Swami's car had already entered the Hillview Stadium. And now I was wondering, God, what is happening? I thought maybe Shanti Vedika, he will take one round and go ahead, as he would do sometimes. But finally, when I came down near where statue of Shiva is there, I saw that Swami's car is actually coming uphill. And I have nowhere to escape now. When the college used to start around 8 o'clock that time, around 8:10 the classes would start. And by 7:30 I was here in my tracksuit, nowhere, with nobody else around, in the middle of the Hillview Stadium, and doing what? Maybe Swami will question me. So I was scared, because that time Swami was conversing with us every day, and that fear was there. If we make Swami unhappy, that the greatest fear of God which I have had is, if he stops giving his love to me, what will happen? So anyway, I had no escape. So I stood in one corner trying to hide myself, and Swami's car came, and I was somewhere here, and Swami's car slowly stopped. And now my heart started beating more heavily, and I was wondering, oh God, maybe he's going to scold me for, being here at this time. Now Swami's car came, and the door, the windshield slowly went down. I could see Swami's stern face. That was even worse. And Swami pointed like this and said, come here. Now this was too much. I was feeling, God, my heart's going to bounce out of my body. So with having no choice, I just went to Bhagwan, and I just folded my hands, ready for forgiveness as usual. And Bhagwan asked strictly in Hindi, "Idhar kya karta hai? What are you doing here at this time?" In the moments of distress, truth comes out. And the truth came out. I said, Swami, I came for doing pradakshina to Lord Hanuman. And suddenly Swami's face and his expression totally changed, that of happiness and joy. And he raised his hand and said, very, very, very happy. I was thinking I was moving towards, some kind of a distress situation, and here I was coming out of it with a lot of joy and happiness on my face. And Swami put the windshield up, and the car went ahead. And behind statue of Krishna, as we know, there's some place, and I thought probably Swami will go up to Hanuman and come back. But Swami from there itself, from behind Krishna, came back, and then he went back to the ashram. I was wondering what happened. So that day evening, Swami came to the interview room, and then he had with him some elders, and then he called 4-5 of us research scholars, and he spoke about something about the convocation function and things like those with the elders. And then suddenly looked towards me and said, "Hey, you Deepak, do you like Hanuman?" I said, "Yes, Swami, I like Hanuman. What is there to question about that?" I was thinking in my mind. And he said, "Come here. And he waved his hand, and came a chain and a pendant of Lord Hanuman, an exact replica of the Hanuman on the hilltop. And then he said, "Keep this and wear this all the time." Now the replica of the same Hanuman which was given to me, and the morning's episode now clicked in my mind. As the question that I was asking Swami was, Swami, I have made this prayer to Hanuman, but has it reached you or Hanuman or somebody else? And the answer came very clearly to me that yes, Swami is the Sarva Devata Sarupa Sampanna Purna Avatar, that he is the embodiment of all gods and goddesses, the Purna Avatar, who accepts all the prayers from all of us if they come out from a sincere heart.
मोहब्बत की कमी दिल में अगर एहसास होता है, जरा झांको तो पाओगे कि साई पास होता है। ओ करिश्मा ये उसी का है कि दुनिया खूबसूरत लगती है, वरना आदमी को आदमी क्या रास होता है। साई बिन रहा न जाए, साई बिन रहा न जाए, साई बिन रहा न जाए, साई बिन रहा न जाए। चैन नाए मोहे चैन नाए, नाए मोहे चैन नाए, चैन नाए मोहे चैन नाए, साई बिन रहा न जाए, साई बिन रहा न जाए। जब से देखा तुझको साई मेरे, दर्श के प्यासे नैना सांझ सवेरे। जब से है देखा तुझको आई मेरे, दर्श के प्यासे नैना सांझ सवेरे। मिट मर जाए तुझ पे हमसे न रूठे तू, जिंदगी सौंप दे हम चरणों में तेरे यूं, जिंदगी सौंप दे हम चरणों में तेरे यूं, जिंदगी सौंप दे हम चरणों में तेरे यूं। मन मंदिर से जाओ न साए, मन मंदिर से जाओ न साए। चैन नाए मोहे चैन नाए, नाए मोहे चैन नाए, साई बिन रहा न जाए, साई बिन रहा न जाए। तू मेरा दिल मेरी धड़कन, तू ही है मंजिल मेरी, तू ही है मंजिल मेरी, तू ही है मंजिल मेरी। मेरा जीवन तेरा दर्शन, मेरी सब सांसें भी तेरी, मेरी सब सांसें तेरी, मेरी सब सांसें तेरी। तुझ पे कुर्बान होए जीवन, तुझ पे कुर्बान होए जीवन, अब तमन्ना है ये मेरी, अब तमन्ना है ये मेरी, बस तमन्ना है ये मेरी, तुझ पे कुर्बान हो ये जीवन, अब तमन्ना है ये मेरी, अब तमन्ना है ये मेरी, बस तमन्ना है ये मेरी, साईं बिन रहा न जाए, साईं बिन रहा न जाए, चैन ना आए मोहे, चैन ना आए, मोहे चैन ना आए, साईं बिन रहा न जाए, 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 साईं बिन साईं बिन रहा न जाए, साईं बिन रहा न जाए।
ओम जय जगदीश हरे, स्वामी सत्य साई हरे, भक्त जना संरक्षक, भक्त जना संरक्षक, पति महेश्वरा, ओम जय जगदीश हरे, शशिवदना श्रीकरा, सर्वा प्राणपते, स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपते, आश्रित कल्पलतिका, आश्रित कल्पलतिका, आपदान्धवा, ओम जय जगदीश हरे, मातपिता गुरुदैवमु मरियन्तयु नीवे, स्वामी मरियन्तयु नीवे, नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ, नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ, नागेन्द्रशयन, ओम जय जगदीश हरे, ओंकार रूप ओजस्वी हो साई महादेवा, सत्य साई महादेवा, मंगल आरती अंधुको, मंगल आरती अंधुको, मंदर गिरिधारी, ओम जय जगदीश हरे, नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम, नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम, सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम, जय सद्गुरुदेवा, नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम, नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम, सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम, जय सद्गुरुदेवा, नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम, नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम, सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम, जय सद्गुरुदेवा, शांति शांति शांति। समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय।
परमं पवित्रं बाबा विभूतिं परमं विचित्रं लीला विभूतिं परमार्थइष्टार्थमोक्षप्रदानं बाबा विभूतिम् इदमाश्रयामि परमं पवित्रं बाबा विभूतिं परमं विचित्रं लीला विभूतिं परमार्थइष्टार्थमोक्षप्रदानं बाबा विभूतिम् इदमाश्रयामि परमं पवित्रं बाबा विभूतिं परमं विचित्रं लीला विभूतिं परमार्थइष्टार्थमोक्षप्रदानं बाबा विभूतिम् इदमाश्रयामि।
ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। 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 ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्।